I'm going to go ahead and start up. I think some people will be coming in, but I just want to say thank you to Jay Kinder for being with me today and taking time to interview an old friend from from North Carolina. I met Jay about 15 years ago, and I'm so appreciative that you'd take the time, Jay, to talk to us.
Of course.
You know, we're here in this Raleigh-Durham area, which some people say compares to Austin. That's your state, I hear. So.
Yep.
But anyway, big thank you to you. And I want to tell everybody a little bit about you. I can't go through all your accolades because it would take me the whole time, and I just can't do that. I know you're the CEO and co-founder of National Association of Expert Advisors. I know you made 30 under 30. I know that when you ran your team in Oklahoma, I believe you had 14% market share, which I only know one other person that's come close to that. And I know that you were number 2 for Caldwell Banker. You were the original Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, number 2, never was number 1. That's thanks to Gene Shine too, by the way.
It does indeed. But you know, the number 1 agent's right here in my town.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, his name is Jim Allen.
Okay, yeah,
and
that's right. That's right.
He's a developer, agent, this, that, and the other. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you just about what you know about real estate, because you know a lot. You've been
I've
around
done it for a little while, yeah.
Yeah, you've been around it all your life. You know, you're a real estate kid who got into the business, which is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, I would have said I probably wouldn't have got into real estate because all I really knew about, because my dad had property management, but he didn't do a lot of sales really. So like I didn't have the parent in real estate that was always out showing houses or on listing appointments really. And so it seemed like it was really kind of a boring job. I remember when I had to go to my dad's office, as a kid, I was always like, oh man, anything but that.
Yeah.
You know, sit on the ground making rubber band balls, stuff like that. I was like, I don't really think I want to get into this business because my dad was always, the only thing I knew about real estate was when it was time to go on vacation, my dad was always in a bad mood. To try to leave.
Yeah. So well, I'll tell you
really
one thing you knew about real estate that my kids didn't know, it was a steady income if he was in property management.
Right.
So every Christmas you had Christmas. That's a good deal.
Yep.
That's a good deal.
That's great.
I don't know what happened there, but I'm still going to talk. I know you've seen countless agents and you've worked with big teams and you've worked with agents. Tell me some of the common mistakes that you see agents make over and over again when they're starting to grow a team or they're getting a good side and they're trying to go to the next level. What are mistakes that you see them make?
Yeah. So the first mistake is they hire agents before they have a hiring process, before they have an onboarding process, and before they have an ongoing training process. So that's probably the number 1 mistake in building a team that I've seen happen over and over again is they aren't prepared for the extra roles and responsibilities that come with managing and leading a team.
Right.
So it actually, in an effort to kind of get some things off of their plate, they end up doing more work because they have added more roles and to the job, and so and put their names in more boxes as on the org chart. So that's probably the number 1 thing. And then second to that is not delegating enough to the $10 an hour stuff, like wanting to hang on to it or just not getting that first hire and getting the $10 an hour work out of the way so you can do the dollar productive activities. Those are the 2 things that kind of come out. Usually the first 2 mistakes I see made.
I know, in dealing with small teams, and then I know you've dealt with a lot of large teams. And what do you think the major pain points are for the small teams versus the large team?
Yeah, so the small team, it just kind of depends really. I would say the larger teams, the biggest problem is it's recruiting and retention of talent. That's the number 1. It's the forever problem, right? So it's always, and it seems like, as busy as you are when you're at that level, the recruiting and retention of talent, it's like there's not a system for recruiting, right? There's not a system for bringing on agents. So it's always like, oh crap, I just lost an agent now. I gotta go replace him. And it takes forever to get that new agent up to production, especially if you lost a good agent, it just becomes a challenge. And so I think that's usually the biggest Achilles heel in the team, in both small and large teams, I think, is really the recruiting and retention of talent.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I think from my own point of view, I mean, I ran a team from a big box company. It was called Remax.
Right.
Believe me, I paid dearly for that opportunity to rent that name for many, many years. So I was headed straight for independent before I found EXP. So I know what the pain point is for the larger, big box company like I was, because I was paying in perpetuity. I mean, I was going to pay if I did $10 million in production, I had, 10 teams underneath me, which I did at one point in time. The money never stopped.
Right. Yep. There's no end to it. I think I paid Cole Banker over, it was a 6-figure number that I paid him. And for a couple of years before I finally had to go independent. I had to say bye to that.
It goes that way. But now when you look, you've got a real good view of real estate because you work with so many people across the United States, and you're looking out of the front, and we can
they just doing that
back. If we were to look back, 10 years ago, we would have seen a totally different market. We would have seen Zillow, but it wouldn't have been buying homes. They wouldn't have been costing us quite what they're costing us now. It was a totally different industry 10 years ago. We didn't have to deal with Open Door, which is in a lot of our markets. Redfin wasn't there. All these iBuyers were not in the market. So when you look forward 10 years from now, tell me how you think the real estate's going to change.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, one of the things, there's no question that the iBuyers are here to stay. And I feel really fortunate that we're at EXP and we have, our founder, Gwen Sanford, is a very forward-thinking kind of guy. And I always like to say he's like the CEO that can see around the corner. And we already have EXP, express offers, which is,
I've used it.
Yeah, it's a platform for investors. And the cool thing is it's not only helps the agent stay connected into the transaction, but it also helps, it gives the potential seller the ability to get multiple offers, which they don't get with Zillow or any of those other programs that are out there. So you would want to get all the offers you could get possibly, right? So it would make sense that you would use this express offers platform. So I'm excited. I think we're in the right company as far as technology goes. I think we've already seen the fact that, if you go back and look at how much money was poured into different companies that were getting into real estate and trying to replace the agent, that's gone away. Those companies have all either shifted their strategy. Or there's not that much money getting pumped into companies that aren't agent centric. So now you see a lot of companies that are coming in, or money that are getting funded to companies. They're all agent centric, like Compass is agent centric. And some of the other ones that kind of shifted their strategy. What's the one? There's one I see on TV all the time. I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me here in a second. But that's another agent-centric one. That's again, they're focusing on the agent being involved in the transaction and getting a referral fee. That's just all a good sign that the agent's not going anywhere.
HomeLight.
There you
go. That's
the
one you're thinking of.
Yeah, but that's agent-centric. Either like them or don't like them, it's agent-centric. That's a company that's putting leads in the hands of good real estate agents, which is a good thing for us, right?
I think so.
So yeah, so it's that's one thing I know that's going to be different in the future is I think that depending on what company you're at, I see a lot of them going away, and I see the ones that are going to stay are definitely tech driven or tech enabled.
Tech driven. I see a lot. I read Inman all the time, and they're talking a lot about commission suppression. I've been hearing about that for a long time, and there's no doubt that there are people out there looking for that.
Yeah, I mean it's I think in the absence of value, people question price, and that's what I've always believed, and it's actually a fact. So you can't really kind of debate that. It's like the law of gravity. So you have a choice to be discount, or you could be a premium value service that you provide. Right. And so I think that's the big difference between, there's a lot of people that'll discount. There's a lot of agents that honestly should discount for the value that they deliver.
Yeah, true.
And so I think the true professionals in this business that truly invest into helping people to sell for the most amount of money and buy the right house for the right price are definitely earning their commission.
Jay, did you always know you were going to be in real estate? Did you?
No, I didn't want to be in real estate. Actually, I didn't. It wasn't until I saw a guy by the name of Rusty Williams get a check for, I think it was like $35 or $4,500, which I was going in to get my check for mowing yards for my dad's rentals. It was like $400. And I remember saying, man, this dude, I was dirty and sweaty, and he didn't look like he had done anything that day. And I was like, what do you do to get that check? Oh, I'm gonna have to look into this commission. What are you talking about, commissions? Tell me some more about this real estate.
I love
business.
that. I love that.
That was the turning point for me. I went and got my real estate license.
How were you, about 18?
Yeah, I was 19
Oh,
years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was a shining star at the Cameron University with my GPA. I think I had the most parking tickets of anyone in the whole campus. That was about the only record I held there. So it wasn't looking too good for me. I didn't know where I was going with my life.
business, that's for sure. Well,
Yeah.
listen, you deal when you gone on up there. I mean, I know you've invested in yourself.
Mhm.
You know, I've seen a lot about you paying a lot of money for personal coaching yourself.
Right. Yep.
And I know that that's helped you over the years. And I've watched you, you know, I've watched you evolve and grow into the superstar and the huge influencer you are. So I know people bringing stuff to you all the time. And it's November, Jay, 3 years ago, this November,
Mhm.
3 years ago in
Exactly right.
2017, you did something that shocked us all.
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of crazy because EXP, I'd seen it before. The very first, we had our own partner program where we were partnering with agents. We had a vision of 2,000 partners. I mean, we would have been the third largest of the independents that were out there in the country. That was our vision, and we were partnering with these agents, and we were delivering a ton of value, and we were just moving along. What I learned is business model. I mean, that's it. If you really break it down, I just understood business model because I had evolved from a lot of people think, hey man, you were selling 500 homes a year. That's amazing. You were so successful. Now I look back at that and say that was the worst year of my life. I mean, the pressure was always on. You sell 50 homes in a month. You got to do it again next month. It starts over every 30 days. Like it was not, that was my goal, but I was on the transaction treadmill and I didn't know that at the time, but it just wasn't, the business model was, I was being stretched to my limits. And so, that was for me. We got into coaching and training agents because of residual income, and that was great. For a period of time, when you don't have anybody canceling, it's the revenue just continues to go up until
Yeah.
you get to a normal attrition where it was about 11% was where our attrition was. So when you lose 20 customers, you got to sell 20 customers every month
Right.
just to stay where you're at. And so that we saw that, and then we saw technology. We got involved with technology, and we actually were a part of the Commissions Inc. deal when they sold. So we made some money on that. So then we got into technology. I have no interest in being in technology personally or managing a technology company. So, but that was the next kind of phase. And then, EXP was just the next thing that showed up and showed up at the right time. But the two times that I was told about EXP, I ignored it. I mean, I looked at one of them, who sent it to me. You won't even believe this. I don't even know if I've ever shared this. So the person that shared it with me, the first person was some random agent that I met at an Ohio State football game with me and my son. And he couldn't stop talking about the stock, and he kept getting on his phone and showing me he had stock. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Ownership, big deal. We should probably add that to our business model. Right. So that was my takeaway. And I didn't look any further. I didn't really listen to anything. He didn't get my attention. And then the second time it was Chris Waters that sent it to me. Sure enough, Chris Waters sent me a video that where he had looked at it. And so I listened to that. I got pretty excited about it at the time, but it just wasn't the right time. And so it just went off to the wayside. And at that time they were pretty small. I don't think there was anybody in the company that I really knew at that time. And so if Brent Gove might have just joined, something like along those lines. And so then Al Stasic, who's one of our top guys in our mastermind and one of our top clients, and he was doing 300 or 400 transactions a year, and he was gonna be one of our area partners in this partner program we had. And he said, hey, I'm thinking about moving over to EXP. And I was like, oh no, you're not. to me, that was he was moving out of alignment. But we had all at this mastermind level, would have the same meetings 3 times a year, wherever we would be, usually like the Kentucky Derby, or we had all these nice places we'd always go, but we'd always bring our biggest problems and try to solve them. And that was the number one problem we were all trying to solve, was like, how do we keep our best people, make a company that they never want to leave? And that was the problem. Al just had his two of his top agents just left and went and joined their own team at Keller Williams. And so he was frustrated with that. And he's like, man, I need you to poke holes in this, man. I'm thinking about doing it. So, all right, I'm going to poke holes in it. No problem. Send me that video. I'll dissect it, and I'm going to give you all the reasons why you should do it. And I couldn't come up with any reasons why you shouldn't do it. And that was the end of that. And so, I really looked at it a lot closer, and I looked at it through a different lens. And this is going to be important for anybody who's watching that hasn't actually invested the time to dissect the model, is get your ego out of the way. And that's what, for me, it was ego. I was doing something, I was successful. I was not needing something new. And I certainly couldn't get my head around joining some other brokerage. Like, I'd already paid that, that bill before, right? Like, there's nothing that would make sense in my mind, because, and I use the analogy as like, I'm like a fish. We're all like fish. We understand everything under the surface of the water, but nothing above the surface of the water. Right. And so, like, you can't possibly imagine an EXP because you've never seen anything like it. And I'm telling you, if you think you know what EXP is and you haven't joined, then you need to listen twice as hard as what I'm telling you right now. So like, that's a mistake I made. And I'm telling you, almost every person that joins the company has a similar story where they thought they knew what it was until they really, truly, with an open mind, looked at it again. And then it just mathematically, you can't decide, you can't unsee it, man. You can't unsee it once you understand the model. And so
Right.
that's what happened to me. And so Al said poke holes in it, and I tried to poke holes in it, and I couldn't. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was like, man, I'm either crazy or we're about to do the same thing. And so I went to one of their events, and I walked in the room. I remember it was about the size of our EGS big events that we used to do. But I saw and I felt something in that room. There was just some energy that was different. And I was like, there's something special here with this group of people, and got to meet all the executives and everything else. And shortly after that, we were at EXP. So, but that was it. That was the story.
So it was about a month process, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. And we jumped in, I'd say we didn't really jump in all 100% in. We had multiple business units. I mean, we were doing 10 million in revenues between all the different companies that we had. And so Mike was involved, and, I took the brokerage, Mike took two of the other business units, and I took the brokerage and coaching. And so I was, I had a responsibility for running the two entities that I had. One was the brokerage, the other was coaching. Well, one was paying me a whole bunch of money. That was the coaching, and the brokerage wasn't paying me hardly anything. So not a whole lot of effort was going to kind of going into that direction until I started having all these coaching calls, right? With trying to help sell coaching. And I would have all these calls with all these different agents from all over the country. And I would get to the end of the call, and where I would normally be selling them coaching, I would be like, man, I got to send you this video about EXP, because like every problem that you just told me I can solve for you if you were at EXP. And it just kept happening over and over again. I'm like, I'm trying to sell coaching, guys. I promise I'm not trying to recruit all these people to EXP, but it just kept happening. It's like the best answer for them was always, you should just partner with us at EXP. Well, you should just partner with us at EXP. Well, your problem's the same. You should just partner with us at EXP. Like, and so that was really how it went. And, by the 5th month that I was in, I think I had brought 20 something agents over, and it was just clear, like, this was the path we're going on.
Yeah.
We're all in now. And the cool thing was, back then, I'm just impressed to watch like any kind of big company grow like this one has. And it's just always impressive to watch the leadership and the people in the company and not have to make all those decisions. I love it. It's actually really, really a lot more fun to be on the outside.
That part it is, you're right. Jay, how many people were in EXP when you joined?
5,000 agents. Yep.
And last time I looked, we were about at 36,000.
Yeah, I think we may have crossed over 37,000 last week. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's right up there.
What do you see for the growth of this company?
Oh, I think we're just getting started.
Well, 100,000 agents is kind of a benchmark. It was for Caldwell, it was for Remax, it was for KW.
Yeah.
What do you see?
Let me tell you why I think I think we're going to grow faster than anybody by far in the next year, and really the next 2 years. I think we'll hit 150,000 in the next 2 years. That's my number. That's nobody else's number that I know, but that's my number. I think we're going to hit it. And here's why. When you think about who's responsible for recruiting agents in every other business model, there's somebody who bought a region and probably multiple partners in that region. And then they go sell franchises and build bricks and mortar offices, recruit agents that pay royalties up to the top. And that's how the regions get paid. And so that's a revenue share model, but it's based on bricks and mortar, and it has the slow process of having to build an office out. And so those grew pretty slow. They didn't grow really fast. We're growing really fast. The reason we're growing really fast is whenever you create a disruptive technology that disrupts the brokerage services that are being delivered to us as agents, meaning it's not being delivered through you don't get your support and your training through a bricks and mortar office. You get it through a cloud environment, much more efficient, much faster, much more. You disrupted the other piece of the model, which was the mechanism for growth. There's like, how are you going to grow this company if you don't have somebody who bought the opportunity for $500,000 to grow a region, right? And so the logical thing, and thankfully the decision that Glenn made, and he was noted to say, I'm going to make this opportunity so big that the right people are going to join us and help grow this company. And so he made, because he had more revenue out of the hundreds of millions of dollars you would have across the country in bricks and mortar offices and all these franchises and everything else, all the costs of running those, you saved a whole lot of money. And so why don't we just put that into let the agents bring agents over to the company? I mean, we all know good agents, right? And so that was his thought process as he explained it. And I was like, so brilliant. Like, now, and that's the reason every single person at EXP has a friend in the business, and they're going to continue to bring, everybody has a friend they're going to bring, everybody. So as they come, all of us have the same opportunity that you would have had to pay $500,000 for if you were a regional owner. And the regional owners, if y'all are watching, anybody chime in and tell me if I'm wrong there on that number. That's the number I've been told. But that's, that was how those companies grew. And we have a whole entire network of agents that have financial alignment with bringing agents into the company and helping the company do better and helping it grow. And so that's why I think we're going to continue to just crush the growth goals. And it's been nuts, man. I don't know what the company number is, but our group's growth rate is over 8% a month.
Wow.
Like that's like pacing to double in like 9 months, I think, if you do the math. Like, if you put it, you got to put it in Excel spreadsheet for me to get that math right. But it's exciting how fast this company is growing.
It is exciting.
Great people too.
The thing about EXP for me is I was looking to kind of, I don't like to fade out of anything. I'm going to burn bright as long as I'm working. I'm coming to make some money.
I love you. Marti.
That's
awesome.
just me.
I know that's you.
I do have kids in the business. So I was trying to look and project. I was headed towards independence so fast. But something you said, I think it was on your podcast, you may remember this. You were interviewing somebody and he said, I don't want to be the only boat on the lake.
Yeah. That's a real deal.
And that was just because my people are so important to me.
Yep.
And the first thing that attracted me actually was the healthcare, but then revenue share, stock. I mean, I never got a stock for the balloon.
Right.
So, but for somebody who's not a worldwide influencer like you are, Jay, somebody who's worked really hard for their own independent brand, it's really a tough decision to give that up.
It is. Yeah, it is. Like I said earlier, and I use it in a try to be in a positive way. It is, but it's our ego that gets in the way. It's like, I try to explain EXP is like, it's like Intel, right? Like, you can buy a Microsoft or Dell, but it's powered by Intel. Like, you're going to keep your own personal brand and what you built. Like, but the truth is, when you really do it, it's like what you were mentioning, and this is an important get for people to understand, is when it's better for your agents, and it's better for your agents, then it becomes really hard not to do it. I mean, it is because darn good and well that what's best for your agents is what's best for you. And if you don't treat your brokerage that way, you won't have a brokerage very long. So, right?
I think brokerages are broke. I mean, I've got experience with owning a big box brokerage. So I think the model is broken in my humble
100%.
So I'm not there. But the reason I never even looked at KW was because I understood I ran a brokerage. I know what profit share is.
No,
I'm going to sell me profit share because I know from office to office is going to be a different thing. But when I looked at revenue share, I said, man, you can't cheat on that.
Yeah, it's off the top. It's a knowable number. Yeah. That's
so
impressive.
Yeah. So when you look at, actually, I didn't go to Vegas. I really regret that I didn't, but I sent somebody in my family go. I said, you go out there and check out this company.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Look at you with that.
When they came back,
delegate.
I delegated, and they came back. They said they liked it. They said, what was the main thing you learned? He said, well, I learned the main thing I learned was when I was in the coffee lines, because I'd talked to people that were in the company then. And he said, their motto is, we're going to make real estate fun again. And man, I could use making some real estate fun again.
Yep.
So I got interested a little bit more in that agenda. But, I just read an article and they were talking about the number 5, they were talking about agents switching companies. And they said the number 5 least important things to them was the brand. The next was actually the commission, which I found really interesting.
Right.
The third thing was leadership. The second thing was the coaching or the training they're going to receive. And the number 1 thing that they said attracted them was the culture. How would you describe the culture?
Man, I really, really, really like this question. And this is the thing that I've noticed that I haven't seen in any other company ever. I've tried to create it in my own company, but not to the level I've seen it here. And it's this company doesn't attract people with a messed up mindset. Like it attracts opportunity minded, positive people, right? Like, and so, and positive minded people don't really work with people that aren't, right? So like I'm not interested. If I talk to someone that's got negative Nancy Nelly complainer, like I'm not even going to try to bring that person into the company because I got to deal with them now. right? Like I'm
Right.
responsible for you because I sponsored you. So now I'm like, well, no, that's not going to work. I'm not going to, and so I think what's happening also, and there is the financial alignment. We're all financially aligned. We all have stock and have ownership in the company. That's great. When it's great on a good stock day, it's great on any day actually, but
Right.
the revenue share, that's great, but there's just this abundance mindset is what I would call it. Everyone has this abundance mindset. And I think part of it has to do, you tell me if you think this is it. So like in our offices, like I was always abundant anyways. Like I'd bring stuff back and try to help everybody and they would never do anything with it. And they would just frustrate me. So I would just stop sharing stuff. But for the most part, I think agents don't get real good mentorship within the office because I'm not sharing my best stuff with my competition. Right. And so I'm not going to do it. Like I might share some really good stuff, but my really good stuff, I'm not sharing that with you. Right. And so and that is your network until you start going to events like we have, right? Going all around the country and joining coaching and doing all this stuff. Then you start meeting other people and you start learning and collaborating with them. And that's really how I became successful. And so that's the case. But at EXP, we're all just one company, all in one cloud-based application, communicating, collaborating, sharing. And we're financially incentivized to help the people that we bring over. So we're always just sharing our best stuff with everybody because if everybody does better, the company does better, we do better, the agents do better, we all win. And so it's just got this alignment, but then there's this fact that we all bring people that are like us, right? And so it's not like I'm not talking to anybody that I don't want to be partnered with. Like, right. And so I think that's another piece of the culture that you get is a lot of very abundant, fun, and very successful people that are attracting a lot more people that are like themselves. And that's a special thing, I think.
I think it really is. I saw the thing you did with Chuck Fazio.
Yeah.
And he brought an indie company of
850. I can't even imagine.
Oh my.
I think most I ever had was 22 agents. So 850 is another level to me. Like, what can we learn from that guy? He's in our group that we get to learn from, and I wasn't even thinking that big, but like he had one office, 850 agents. But when he explained it, he's like, guys, I'm tapped out where I'm at. He's like, I got to go build another $8 million building if I want to do what I've done here. Right. And so EXP is a no brainer. He's like, I'd have done this for sure, before I would have done what I did. He's like, this is a way better model. So he's an amazing guy for sure.
He's in Arizona, I believe, Phoenix or someplace like that.
Yep.
And now he's probably got people in other states because it's so easy for him to spread.
Right.
I don't know. That's an amazing thing. I've got a little bit of experience with trying to do business in another state, and that's harder to do than you think. But with EXP, you've got the infrastructure in place. I love that. Another thing I heard, actually on one of your last podcasts, I believe Glenn Sanford called in and he said, we want our value proposition at EXP to be so good that it would be financially irresponsible not to have your license at our company. I think that is huge.
That is a tattooable quote right there. That's a good one. Yep. That's good.
He is awesome. He's awesome. And I've had a good chance to meet him and talk to him. And he was throwing around some big numbers that he thinks this company has got potential to go to. And I just want to help people. Honestly and truly, I do want to help people grow their dream. I mean, real estate's been good to me. Mm-hmm. If I would have had this opportunity when I bought Remax.
Yeah, I mean, unreal.
I bought a Remax and then 9/11 happened. So it was, we still cooked it though. We still rocked it.
Yeah, I know you did.
We moved from a 3,000 square foot building to an 11,000 square foot building.
That's a big jump.
Within the first 2 or 3 years. So it's been really good, but there's just no parallel whatsoever. When I started leaving that company, they brought the big knives out. So it wasn't as much fun leaving as it was going. And why would it be? I mean,
this is something that gives me heartache a lot these days. And that is, if you're independent contractor agreement, we had this conversation. I had a conversation today with a few ladies that were joining the company, and they were asking what was in the independent contractor agreement, which is a really smart thing to ask because most agents, when we don't remember because we hadn't looked at it since the day we signed it, and we didn't even read it then. And so you don't know it's in your agreement until you try to leave. And if there's language in the independent contractor agreement that states specifically, doesn't matter where your business comes from, but you're going to not get revenue you're not, or it's going to be on a lower split, or they try to make you leaving very difficult and costly in terms of financially. And so I run into this all the time now with people that want to join, but like, I kind of can't right now.
Right.
I had a lady that literally she had taken a commission in advance for like 3,000 or 5,000. I can't remember the number, but it ended up being, if she left within 3 years, that had been paid back already. Like that was paid back within the month that it closed, right? Like it was like a month later, it got paid back. If she left within 3 years, she had to pay them, and it came out to something like $22,000. I'm like, is that even legal? Can you even do that? Like, I'm going to run this by my attorney and see if this is even legal. Like, this is robbery. But like, there's all kinds of crazy clauses and stuff like that, and it's evidence that there's the value's not there, and they're acting out of fear. Why would you put something like that in your agreement? If you truly added value to those agents, then you know that they would never leave, or when they do, that you can't stop them, or you shouldn't try to. And so anyways, it bothers me because I see it all the time, and agents don't know, and they haven't been paying attention to what's in their agreements. And when you leave, they're going to take your money, and that's just not right. And you won't find that in EXP's agreement. You won't find that. You'll find that you can leave, you can take your leads out of your platform, all that stuff. You just leave and go bye. They don't try to hold you. They're not trying to, because they know you're not going to try to leave.
I know.
Not everybody stays. Obviously, not 100% of agents stay, but we have a much better retention rate for obvious reasons.
I think so too. It's I tell you who's big about doing that is new construction is bad about doing those clauses. And also the worst one in my area is your old alma mater there, Caldwell Banker. They are tough when it comes to leaving. They got a fleet of lawyers on their side, and they will take you, and they will take 90% of your commission when you go. So I've dealt with that myself.
Read your agreements, folks. Read your agreements.
I know.
And they're negotiable too, by the way, so you can negotiate them.
Exactly. I love the what I have felt since I've been at EXP has been an unleveled collaboration. I've never had collaboration like that. It was kind of like what you said, this is my stuff. I'm not going to give you my stuff. But with here, man, it's an open door, and there are people that are just going to step in there. Like, for example, I just went on today on Workplace, and I found the #1 listing presentation. There was a contest evidently at EXP. So I found the #1 listing for the last year, and it was pretty sick.
Right.
I learned a few things.
Yeah. There's some collaboration is one of those words that gets thrown around a lot, but I think a lot of people kind of chalk it up as fugazi. But it's the real deal. I mean, you can literally mastermind with top agents from around the country, and it's incredible the things you learn. You know what? We have someone in our group. I think it's Julie DeRoches. You may know her, but she's in Minnesota, and we do this weekly Expert Mentors Live, where kitchens will interview them and everything else, and she had like done 300 transactions, and I think it was like 285 of them were by referral. I was like, I can't wait to listen to this one. I was like, I can't even imagine how you could get that many of your deals coming from referral. And when I listened to what she was doing, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it was so simple. And it was just one thing that she did. And she took every one of her clients to a really nice steak dinner. Like, it was just one little tweak of the dial that I wasn't doing ever, right? That could have been all the difference in the world. I was like, that's such a great idea. And so, like, there's all of this, we're always doing stuff like that for our group just because that's how we roll. But there's so much value and things you can learn. Like, I've got this guy, Andrew Gadosh, is a good buddy of mine, that has like 95% market share in one, like all lakefront property, 95% market share. I've never seen that before. Like,
I've never seen that.
Yeah. You got to meet this guy. He's unbelievable. Like, I said, how do you get them? They all list with you. He's like, well, every once in a while, like, one will go into foreclosure, and sometimes I don't get that one. I was like, dude, what are you doing? And so we learned what he did. And I mean, it's incredible, but like all that type of, when you're, it, Marty, you've been in all the biggest, most expensive groups you can be a part of top agents in the world. Well, that's what EXP is now. It's just this giant company full of the top agents that are the biggest influencers in the industry, and they're all sharing the things they're doing to be successful today. And that's what you get to plug into. And so that's why if you're not at EXP, you ain't hungry. Like, if you want to grow, then you're at EXP. Like, it's kind of becoming, that's the thing. Like, you're going to stay over there and just going to watch yourself die on the vine, or you're going to come over here and learn with all the best of the best. I mean, it's really that kind of a company.
At some point in time, it really does come down to the math. I know when I made my first big move, of course, first 8 years I was in real estate, I was behind on my taxes. It was a bad show. Yeah. But I finally left Prudential, which turned into a lot of other companies around here, but I was leaving $300,000 on the table. And I finally counted the money.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, Remax looked like a great option. That was
Right.
1996, and it was a good option.
It was a great option then. Yeah.
But it's not now, and
Right.
it's not the same. The game has finally changed.
Yeah.
You know, you don't go to Blockbuster anymore. You don't,
Right.
call Yellow Cab. The world
Right.
has finally changed.
Yeah, it has, definitely. No question.
I used to go to Mike Ferry events a lot, and he had this old saying, because he'd been kicked out of so many MLSs across the country, that he said, I've been kicked out. And he said, this is an antiquated, out of date business.
Yeah.
And I've been banned and rebanned and back and forth again. And he was so right about that.
Yeah,
So
he was.
I just think this is just the coolest thing to come down the pike. And I'm so glad that I found it at the right time. Because,
Yep.
if I've got 5 years to roll, I want them to be 5 strong years.
Yeah, at the top.
So tell me, when I see some people, and of course, I'm always going to sell homes. I was still frustrated. I hadn't lost my fire for selling homes when the EXP opportunity came. I was actually trying to break 500. I'd sold 475, and I thought, man, why can't I break that 500? I'm just so mad.
Right.
So when I looked at this and I looked at the future going forward, and I said, this is the way it's going to be for so many people across the country. So I'm just delighted I found it. And I'm more delighted that when I got there were people that I knew, that people that I respected, such as you and others. Brent Grove, I
Yep.
used to stand in line with him at Remax all the time.
Yeah.
And he was just there. So when you talk about things like express offers and it giving the seller, and that's one passion of mine too, is to give the seller, our principal, the best opportunities out there. I think that's what Glenn Sanford is all about. So, and I know you are also big on agent productivity. And
Yep.
last time I heard you talk, you said there's some really smart people in this country, at this company, that are working on building up. Where's the next deal coming from?
Yep.
Agent
Yeah.
productivity.
100%. And this is something I haven't probably talked about too much, not enough even anyway. And so, the way this, anybody that looks at the model and understands the revenue share, there's, 7 generations that you can get paid on. Well, that 7th level has 1,000 and something agents on it. So it's potentially worth a lot of money. Now, every agent that I've sponsored, as long as I have 40, I get paid on that level. If I don't, then I don't get paid on that level. So it's worth a whole lot of money to me to make sure my agents are producing. And so, and the same for Mike and the same for Al and everybody else in the company, the more, there's now the problem that I've been trying to solve. I've always been trying to solve at some level or another in any of the entities that I've been in, trying to find high quality business that can close quickly. And so trying to find good quality leads that close fast. We've been trying to solve that problem in the last 4 months, more so than we ever have, probably ever. And the result is we're finding better ways to do marketing. Our lead cost is dropping. So this is a big deal for agents. And a lot of people don't understand this. When you get a KV Core platform, instead of having to pay $700 or $1,000, like we've had to pay for the platforms that we've had over the years, your cost per lead goes up. The cost of technology drives the cost of your leads up because you're dividing that by the number of leads you get. And so when you get that platform and then you get the training and people that actually know how to do marketing can help you build your ad sets, you can drive the lead cost way down. And so we've been seeing $2 and $3 cost per lead, which I haven't seen in a long time.
No.
Yeah. And so that's exciting, right? And so like that's going to trickle down. Now we're doing that. We're doing it done for you for the agents that we've sponsored. Why? Because you're worth a lot of money to me individually. You may be number 40.
Yeah.
That's how I treat everyone the same. So they're all just as valuable. So I want to help every single one of them. So I'm investing in agents now. And so like that's a bit, and I'm not getting a split, right? Like I used to do that for my team, but I got 50%. Now I do that for you and I don't make anything. So I'm just trying to help you. And so like the trickle down effect of us solving that problem for people is yet to be seen, the value that it's going to add to the overall company and all the agents that are a part of it. I just think we're going to continue to find new ways to do things and be on the front end of how to get customers, which is what we like to work on in the first place.
I think that's the reason I made this call. That tip that you just gave me right there was one of the best. And you're right. It doesn't. You don't need a referral if you're doing that. You need your people, your expansion group, or whatever you want to call them, earning money and selling houses.
And let me tell you how they're trying to spin this. Like I can't remember. So I saw a post somewhere that somebody was the other companies are trying to say this and that, the other about our company or whatever. And agent productivity, they were dogging us on agent productivity or something. I was like, well, yeah, well, look how fast we're growing, right? So like, you ain't growing at all. You're actually losing agents. So whatever your productivity is per agent is probably really close to what it actually is. Whereas we're adding so many agents into this company. Yeah, our productivity is going to look low. We got agents that have been with us. We got thousands of agents that have been with us just for the last 2 months that probably haven't closed a deal yet with us. And so it makes it look like our numbers are not as good, but I can tell you, and in real estate, real estate's the same to a certain degree everywhere. And me and Glenn actually had a conversation about this. And I hate to say it, but like, you're not going to make losers a winner in real estate. This is just not going to happen. So there's going to be a large number of agents that get into any company and they're not going to be successful, and they're not going to be successful at any company that they go to, period. And that's just the truth. I think in DFW, it was something like, I can't remember the number. It was more than half of the agents in DFW. I do know that did not sell a home. And that's 30 something thousand agents. So like 15,000 agents in DFW didn't even sell a house last year.
Yeah.
So like, there's a high percentage of agents that aren't going to be successful. But if you truly want to be successful, I don't believe in most of the other companies that I know of, I don't know that you could find how to be successful. I did not find how to be successful within the walls of Coldwell Banker. I found it outside the walls with people like you and where people that I masterminded with. That's where I found success. And so, that's where this company has the advantage over everybody is, well, why wouldn't you be here? If you want to grow it, why wouldn't you be here? If you're serious about your career, why wouldn't you be here? Give me a good reason why not. Because you either haven't done the math or you need some help with the math. And
or it wasn't your idea. Or it wasn't your idea.
Or your ego's in the way. Or your ego's in the way. Trust me, I got ego. I had to deal with that. I had to have a talk with my ego and put my ego aside and say, I'm joining some other company. I've never joined it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've only been independent since I sold the company. I've never answered anyone. So I start making up all these stories in my head, like, oh, wouldn't be told me what to do. No, you just got to put your ego aside and say, listen, if it looks better, it's probably better, right? Like, just come on over. It's fun.
What you're famous for saying all the time is once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah. I don't know if that's grammatically correct, but that's exactly what I said.
I know.
Like, man, like, you can't unsee this. It is too good to be true, but it's not.
It is good. It is really good. And I'm just so happy to be here. And I'm so happy that you spent this time with me. I don't even know what to say, except that this is a true opportunity, in a place where, honestly, I just got to get a little sentimental now, but as a single mom coming into, it was either welfare or learn how to do something that's going to support 3 kids. Mm-hmm. And I got into real estate with my heart. I put my heart into it. I put my work ethic into it, and it's been good to me. Mm-hmm. But this is better than anything I've ever been offered. Right. And my name is still on the door. And I think that's what people don't understand a lot is that it's still me.
Yeah. And it's, that's what I would say is if you're watching this and maybe you're not 100% clear, or I've had this happen a lot where they've talked to someone before, but they couldn't figure out how to make it work. And then so they kind of just chalked it up as well that you may not have been talking to the right person. So, reach out and talk to Marty, take the time to investigate it further. Let's look at how we can make it work. And there's probably a way. In almost every situation, there's so much flexibility in the model you have that it's almost impossible not to make it work. And then financially, it's almost a certainty that it's going to work to your advantage as well. So, it's just one of those things. So don't sit on the fence any longer.
I know, and I will tell you one quick thing too. When I joined RE/MAX, RE/MAX was a bad word. It was a 4-letter word in this town. Every major company in this town badmouthed that brand until it was the top brand in this town.
Yep.
So I think the same thing's going to happen right here at EXP. And I'm so happy I'm along for the ride because you know what? I still have a lot of fun in this business, and I'm still blessed every day to be able to do it and work with people like you. So
yeah, man, I'm so happy that you're here. Thrilled that you're here, and we're finally in business together. We've known each other forever, and there was never that way for us to kind of be in alignment to be in business together, but now we are, and that's a really cool thing about this company.
You are a gracious guy. You've got a beautiful family, and I can't wait to see you again. And if I see you in Puerto Rico, that could be all the better.
All right, that sounds good.
Take care, Jay.
Okay,
thank you.
Marty.
Bye-bye.